Bringing a character to life as an actor takes a lot of hard work and dedication. Performers have to spend hours preparing for their role and really figuring out how to best embody this fictional person. The Arrowverse actors have it especially tough, as they're also required to get absolutely shredded for their role. Staying in shape for a character is a big challenge and forces an actor to put their job above their preferred lifestyle. These DCEU stars pull it off, though. Just look at Melissa Benoist and, shockingly, Mark Hamill. They deserve a shout-out for getting into shape to play their DC character, and that's exactly what TheBinger is going to do in this video. The face of the Arrowverse, the flagship hero of the franchise, Stephen Amell, got absolutely ripped to portray Oliver Green, also known by his superhero name Green Arrow, or sometimes just the Arrow. It's confusing. This vigilante uses a high-tech bow and arrow to fight crime. Go ahead and get your Hawkeye jokes out of your systems now. Feel free to pause the video and come back if you can't keep them in. Alright, Stephen Amell worked tirelessly to get into peak physical condition to play the Green Arrow. He then maintained that level of fitness over the course of the show and routinely showed off the fruits of his efforts in promos and choreographed fight scenes. It's pretty impressive that Amell was able to stay so fit for so long to fill his role. Not to mention that Amell also had to learn archery and become pretty good at it to bring the arrow to life. He definitely deserves a shout out for committing so much to this role. Also, by the way, Green Arrow could totally beat up Hawkeye. Whether you agree or disagree with that, keep it civil in the comments, folks. One of Mark Hamill's many roles over the course of his nearly unmatched career is that of the trickster in The Flash. This role basically lets Hamill cut loose and give one of his animated Joker performances in live action. The role also really lets Hamill ham it up and lets Luke Skywalker get away with making a few Star Wars jokes to boot. The trickster appears a handful of times in The Flash television show. In his first appearance in Season 1, Mark Hamill looks like, well, he looks like most guys who are in their 60s. However, in Season 2 and later seasons, it's clear that Hamill lost a good amount of weight and is in noticeably better shape. However, it's worth noting that Hamill didn't exactly start working out after getting cast in The Flash. Instead, this weight loss is likely due to Hamill preparing to reprise his role of Luke Skywalker in the new Star Wars trilogy.
They really changed my lifestyle. I lost, almost 50 pounds.
Still, credit to Hamill for getting into better shape and proving that you're never too old to pick up better life habits. Nobody knew quite what to expect from the Supergirl show when it first premiered in 2015 on CBS. That wasn't a fever dream, by the way. Supergirl really was on CBS for a season, and that will forever be profoundly weird. Seeming like a spin-off of a Superman show that didn't exist, everybody knew the show would have to change up classic characters to feel unique. What people didn't expect or even realize that they wanted was for Supergirl to make longtime Superman pal Jimmy Olsen ripped. This version of Olsen, who prefers to go by James, is played by Mehcad Brooks. Before breaking into television, Brooks was a fashion model and the perfect person to bring this cut art director to life. Brooks' impressive physique even helps sell this version of Olsen as a superhero, as he moonlights as the Guardian in this continuity. It also looks like Brooks is set to keep his track record of playing super fit characters going with his future projects. He's in line to play the cyborg Jax in the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie. That's pretty fun, and Brooks is the perfect actor for this new take on Jimmy Olsen. Nate Haywood, or Citizen Steel, is a historian in the Arrowverse who joins the Legends of Tomorrow organization. His metahuman ability allows Haywood to transform his skin into movable steel, rendering him impervious to nearly all physical harm. It makes sense, then, that actor Zano would have to pump a lot of iron to take on this role. That's right, we went there. We made the joke. And no, we were not ashamed. We weren't. While Zano has always played heartthrobs, Steel is definitely the most physically demanding role he's taken on. His most notable work on television consists of recurring roles on sitcoms like What I Like About You, Cougar Town, and Two Broke Girls. Credit where it's due, Zano really had to step it up and get in shape for this role. He succeeded tremendously, and now it's hard to imagine anyone else as embodying a man made of living metal. It takes a lot of work to get hard, and even more work to get hard as steel. Don't worry, we're moving on now. So that's the last of these jokes for now. Is Mon-El in Supergirl pretty much just an off-brand Superman? Yes. Yes, he is. Is he so ridiculously fit and chiseled enough that he could only be described as otherworldly? Also, yes, and that earns actor Chris Wood a spot in this video. Prior to appearing in the Arrowverse, Wood starred in a number of shows. the most notable of them being the Carrie Diaries, Girls, and The Vampire Diaries. While Wood is a solid actor in his own right, him being best friends with Grant Gustin, the Flash, certainly helped him lock in this role. While Mon-El's costuming certainly helps project an incredible physique, Wood still had to get into crazy good shape for this role. After all, not everyone can portray a godlike alien who's nearly indestructible, even if he did have a lead allergy for a bit. Still, Chris Wood was a fantastic pick for this role, and it's clear he did his best to really bring it to life. Fingers crossed we see him again in guest roles as the Arrowverse goes on. Dominic Purcell is one of those actors who's been active for a while in the foreign film and B-movie scene, with some appearances on mainstream TV. He appeared on an episode of House, Castle, and played Lincoln Burrows in the drama Prison Break. He's in this video, though, thanks to his fantastic portrayal of McRory or Heatwave in the Arrowverse. Heatwave is a larger-than-life pyromaniac and former villain, so it tracks that Purcell would have the bulk to back his character up. Purcell often plays physically imposing characters, largely because he's a pretty bulky guy in real life. However, it can be tough to maintain that kind of body type, especially as the actor nears the age of 50. Purcell deserves a shout-out for staying in such great shape and still taking on such physically demanding roles, especially after the concerning injuries he's taken on while filling these roles. Power to you, Purcell. Keep up the good work and keep making people half your age feel even more out of shape. Manu Bennett is a New Zealand actor famous for portraying powerful and imposing figures in sci-fi and fantasy media. He played Crixus in the Spartacus show as well as Azog the Defiler in the Hobbit trilogy. Bennett makes it into this video thanks to his terrific performance as Slade Wilson in Arrow, and all the work he put into the role. Also known as Deathstroke, Slade is a super soldier and basically a combination of Captain America and Deadpool, but in a hockey mask. He's super strong, agile, and can heal from even fatal injuries in a matter of hours. The only downside, though, is that Slade is usually a villain or anti-hero, and butts heads with the Green Arrow often in the show. Bennett is the perfect actor to play the Arrow's mentor and later rival. He's perfected playing physically unmatched characters and makes the audience believe that he could beat the Arrow at any time. Even at the age of 50, Bennett is still able to kick ass in movies and on TV, and he should be recognized for that accomplishment. Katrina Law is an actor known for taking on and excelling in physically demanding roles. Her first recurring role was as Mira in Spartacus Blood and Sand and later Spartacus Vengeance. This made her the perfect person to take on the role of Nyssa Al Ghul in The Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow. Like her father, Nyssa is at the very peak of physical ability and can easily defeat droves of opponents. This required Law to perform quite a bit of choreographed acrobatic fighting for hours on set. Needless to say, this can be incredibly demanding for a performer and requires them to push themselves to their physical limits. Law took it all in stride, though, and gave a terrific performance in both series. This commitment is definitely paying off for her, as she now has a recurring role in The Oath and had a major role in Hawaii Five-0. Hopefully, the work ethic needed to give such physically demanding performances continues to pay off for Law and her career soars to even greater heights.
Teamwork.
David Ramsey is another established TV actor and a mainstay in the broader Arrowverse. Prior to taking on the role of John Diggle, Ramsey starred in the ABC show Wildfire and played Anton Diggs on Dexter. However, these roles were nowhere near as physically demanding as his work in the Arrowverse. With the superhero alter ego Spartan and a bunch of other titles over the course of the show, Ramsey got a workout in nearly every episode. Ramsey had to perform a lot of fight choreography and handle a number of prop weapons on set. He easily sold himself as a master combatant in every episode, and his imposing stature helped quite a bit with that. Even if it's a part of his job, it takes a lot to stay this fit and endure these kinds of working conditions for so many years. Ramsey made it all look easy, and he definitely deserves some recognition for that. He's more than earned whatever acting opportunities come his way once Arrow finally wraps up. Following her work on Glee, Melissa Benoist landed the role of Kara Danvers on Supergirl. This character isn't to be confused with Carol Danvers, who's an entirely different superpowered woman in another comic book franchise. Anyway, as Supergirl, she has all of the powers and weaknesses as Superman, making her pretty much invincible. As such, Benoist doesn't have to do as much choreographed fighting as some of the other actors in this video. However, that doesn't mean she didn't get in shape for her role. After all, so much of what makes Superman and Supergirl such great comic characters is their ability to sell their superpowers. Props can't just bounce off Benoist in an episode. She has to sell that she's invincible and can take everything in stride. A big part of making that convincing is Benoist looking and posing like someone who's invulnerable to nearly anything. Benoist does a spectacular job in bringing Supergirl to life, and even managed to do so during a pregnancy. That takes an incredible amount of dedication, and it's clear that Benoist can tough out anything to give a great performance. What do you think of these Arrowverse stars getting jacked for their roles? Did we miss anyone? Please let us know in the comments down below. While you're there, also remember to like this video, subscribe for more, and ring that bell. That way you'll be able to see all of our upcoming videos before anyone else has the chance to.